You can't have somebody that doesn't deserve to be there, right? So you got a dream team in our state capital here with DeSantis's team. They're doing all kinds of things. They're achieving things like great. The people are happy. That's why he clubbed Charlie Crist to death in the election, beating him by 20 points and more. This is one of the reasons, in my opinion, that we have a lot of superintendents leaving. Why? Because one of the things that's going to be hung around DeSantis' neck if he chooses to run for president is going to be the state of education, right? Good or bad, right? If it's a plus, you wear it like a medal. If it's bad, you wear it like a scarlet letter. Education is something that politicians cannot get away from. You have to atone for the state of education. And we're having the battle here. Obviously, Republicans did not start this culture war. This culture war happened with sneak attacks from the left trying to promote their transgender ideology. But nonetheless, DeSantis is killing it here. And the former president as well, like he brought this on. He wasn't gonna let it pass, right? So this is an issue that's gonna be big. We have superintendents who are leaving, and for good reason. Number one, not only did they have 30-year careers where they never opened their mouths about the state of education, they never warned the parents that bad things were happening in schools, right? So they deserve to be tarred and feathered. If you ask me, they should be tarred and feathered, right? Don't just leave, with a golden parachute. Tarred and feathered on your way out for not being a leader and saying, you know what, I don't care about my career. The state of education is not good in this state. It's not good in our country because we have failed to keep the agendas, whether it's a woke agenda or any other agenda, out of schools and just promote learning and education. And that hasn't happened. So, that's why they're leaving, in my opinion. That has to be the reason that our local superintendent is leaving, because we're failing in every respect. We just gave her some honorary title for 2 weeks after she retires, calling the superintendent emerita. Well, superintendent emerita. And the first line in the document that we just passed, 4-1, I voted against, was saying that whereas this has been in a successful tenure, what is successful? So our proficiency is terrible. All the numbers have gone down. There's no metric. And the one metric where we looked good by building these great schools that were not sucking up energy from the earth, they were like constantly self-sufficient. They were just great work. They got rid of that person because he wouldn't play a corrupt game. It's just, oh my gosh. So anyways, these superintendents, they should be leaving faster. They can't get out of the system fast enough for the sake of our kids, in my opinion. It's just bad news. I know I'm going to take a whole bunch of heat, but in the end, for saying that, these are politically connected people, and that's the only reason they get to where they are. They're all princes and princesses of their communities. They don't necessarily deserve it. For me, it's all about the metrics. If your kids aren't doing great in school, you are not a great superintendent. No matter which way you slice it up, no matter which way you tie the bow, it is not good. Let's move on to the next thing, though. The superintendent search, right? So there's a whole bunch of schools looking right now. The FSBA is controlled. So the FSBA is it's the Florida School Board Association. They do a superintendent search for most school districts, and then there's private agencies that do it. But they're searching for 4 superintendents this time: Brevard, Charlotte, Manatee, and Osceola County. But there's also other openings in the state of Florida, so we'll see who gets those jobs. If you're in those counties, and I hope that you have people watching those counties, get involved in that superintendent search to the degree that you can, and make sure that you have a superintendent that understands the community, not one who's going to come in and play the game the same way that everybody always does. Moving on. So this is kind of crazy. Here, another teacher gets arrested, and we have something on that for this too, right? I think we have a video for this. Okay, so what we got is this gentleman here was arrested. It's a gym teacher, and here's what's crazy about this story. Okay, he was arrested, but he had been warned in writing. He had been warned 3 times, from what I understand, for inappropriate behavior with students. 3 times. Who hires somebody like that? And who doesn't fire somebody like that? That's part of your record. In inappropriate behavior with students, and you keep him on or you hire him? What can you possibly be thinking? That's what I'm talking about. These people need to get out of town. All these administrators who just want to get their careers and they want to keep everything the same way, they need to get out. You need to move on. His third letter. The third letter was sent to this guy, this Florida teacher, after asking, allegedly, a student about her boyfriend and her belly button piercing. If a teacher is asking you about your belly button piercing, this is not a teacher that you want in your schools. There should be an immediate flag that says, hey, you know what? I don't know. Now, maybe they couldn't prove it. Nonetheless, that's not a contract that you renew. When you have 3 complaints about a teacher in different instances about some kind of thing, you don't renew the process. Which brings us to Osceola County. Recently we had, I don't know, you know what? I only have the experience of Osceola County, but my gosh, do we have a lot of problems with this kind of thing in Osceola County. One of our employees in Osceola County was arrested for allegedly having pornography, child pornography. And so here's the story on this. Do we have a video on this, or is it just, yeah, so let's watch this video.
An Osceola County Public Schools employee has been arrested on child porn charges. Jason Warren was arrested just last week at the school board. The sheriff's office says an investigation uncovered child pornography on his phone. Warren faces 2 charges of possession of child pornography, and investigators say that he may face additional charges.
Yeah, I mean, I almost choked on my water just hearing that again. Listen, we can't take this stuff too lightly. This is disgusting. If this is true, I don't know what to say about this. But this isn't the first time in Osceola County. Unfortunately, this has been something that we hear far too often in Osceola County. I did a search one time to prove a point, I think last year, and I found like 13 instances where we have this kind of, not necessarily this exact situation. And Central Florida is one of the worst sex trafficking places. At one point, we had a lobbyist in Osceola County who had supported the illegal sex trade. And we couldn't fire him. I couldn't get the votes to get rid of him, right? As soon as I was made aware of something that would allow us the excuse to get rid of somebody who had supported the illegal sex trade, I couldn't get the votes. I don't, as a school board member, how do you vote for that? Finally, I just got the votes to not renew the contract, but they're going to run around, in my opinion, they're going to run it around and everybody's still going to get paid the same. I have that suspicion. It's just terrible, absolutely terrible. It's sickening. So let's this sickening story now let's go back to the agenda. So something in Orange County, right? I think a lot of people saw this on social media. Dragon Donuts at Boone High School. It's a school in Orlando, and they had this event, Dragon Donuts. People were going nuts over it. I mean, come on. You're going to tell me that this is not agenda-driven? Look, when you have some guy, and then it says, we were just trying to have somebody who was telling you how to be happy in your own skin. Listen, being drag, by definition, is not being happy in your own skin. Okay? When you're a man and you're wearing prosthetic breasts and crazy wigs and stuff, no. Not only is it not normal, and I hate to use the word normal, but it's inappropriate on a school. It's inappropriate, and this is not an attack on the community. Somebody made a great comment. In fact, let me read this comment that someone made earlier because it's just worth repeating. This is by a very smart guy. We know him in Orlando. He absolutely hit it right on the head. Randy Ross. I'm sure that a lot of you in Orlando know him. And here's his opinion. I'm going to read it really quickly. My opinion may surprise some. I don't see this as an attack on the LGBT community or drag genre. There's nothing more entertaining than a great drag show. I don't know. I've never seen one. It's pretty entertaining. I'm sure it's funny, right? It might be good. It might be. Certainly, it's adult, which he gets to. But the drag community must own the drag has and why some, especially parents, do not think it's appropriate for children. Drag can include risque dress and is often filled with vulgar language and questionable monologues. But that's also why it's entertaining for adults, he points out. It's entertaining for adults. It's part of the known history of drag performances. Any performance, I would presume, can be watered down to fit an audience. But the pending question is, why does the drag... Listen, I'm going to repeat this. Why does the drag community want to entertain children on school grounds? Therein lies the reason why parents are reacting. Now, I'm going to continue. Uniquely, the Boone High School now canceled the drag-inspired event. It was after hours, had a history of performing the program before at the school, and required parental consent. But essentially, this guy is right. He's 100% right. Why, to pose the question, why does the drag community insist on going to schools? It's gross. You know what? You don't see strippers going to schools to perform. And here's the thing, for all you people in St. Cloud who are watching the show in Osceola County, I don't know, maybe it was about a year ago, we had a drag show in St. Cloud, downtown St. Cloud, in a bar. There's video of a child, a toddler, an infant, putting a dollar into the clothes of a drag queen. So if you think that this isn't happening everywhere, it happened in St. Cloud, right? Many of the people that you and I know their name, at least we know of them, okay, were at that show and promoting it. So this is not something that is isolated. It's not one little singular thing. That's how you know this is a large scope agenda, because it's everywhere, even in St. Cloud. You complain about traffic? Listen, I will drive for 3 hours in traffic as long as I know my kid is safe. But you can't even trust St. Cloud, which you would imagine. St. Cloud is the place where people have dreamed to live, in a place like St. Cloud. That small town home. Now, what have they done to St. Cloud? They've ruined the water, right? They have ruined the roads, ruined the traffic, ruined the scenery, and now they're making it unsafe for kids, bringing drag shows to kids where they're, and I'm talking about raunchy things. I saw the video, and putting their dollar in. I mean, come on, man. This is crazy. This is not okay. And this is not an attack on the drag community, whatever. I don't care. Nobody cares. Listen, this is 2023. Nobody cares what you do in your home. You can act as crazy as you want. Nobody's going to blink an eye. We've all seen crazy already. But what we don't like is when you mess with other people's kids. Okay? We don't even like it when you're abusing your own child. But when you're messing with other people's kids, I think that's a dangerous place to go for people. If you want people to understand and accept your community, then you don't attack other people's kids. That's the bottom line with that issue. Moving on to the next thing, we're going to talk about. Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention really quick that Alicia Ferrant got on that really quick, and then the state got involved and they prevented this from happening. So the people of Orange County, aside from Alicia, didn't even step in. This principal, what was he thinking? What was this principal thinking? I don't understand why you would let this happen. All the people at the school don't understand why you would let this happen. And then why is she the only one speaking out against it? It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It just doesn't make any sense, you know? And where's the governor? Why aren't these people on the hit list? They should have been on the hit list, right? If you didn't speak out against this, you should be on that hit list right now. You failed to protect kids when you had the opportunity. You need to be on that hit list of school board members from the governor's office. That list is really disappointing to me. He endorsed 30 school board members in the last election, 25 of which won. So you can't put at least 25 people on that list for this year, this election? Doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it grows. I don't know. I'm not the governor. I've never spoken to him in my life. I've said hello to him at several events and whatever. That's it. I handed him a challenge coin, actually, when he came to the schools, but I wasn't allowed to get near him. I was whisked away because I talked too much. So, anyways, that's that. Last thing, the school board meeting in Osceola County. We talked earlier about the whole gun thing, that they removed cops and there was a shooting and so on and whatever. And then we talked and at that Denver shooting story, they were checking kids for arms, right? Well, there was something that happened at this last meeting. It was apparent. It's on the video. It's public record. I'm just going to repeat what was said on that meeting, unless we have it. Do we have that? So we have it somewhere, but we'll put it on as a standalone video later on. I think that's the best way to go to that. I think that the mom who was involved, she said that she was going to put that video on YouTube. She reached out to me earlier, not on YouTube, on social media. She reached out to me earlier, and they had taken it down multiple times, not Facebook, but the actual admins of the groups that she was trying to post it to, they kept taking it down. So we're going to put it up ourselves and see. I think that people need to see it. But anyways, here's the story. there's these two people. Okay, I'm not making judgment on this SRO, by the way. He's a law enforcement officer. I reserve judgment. I'm not going to pass judgment on what he did or what actions he took or anything like that, because I don't know. I'm not a fact finder in this situation. Right now I'm acting as a journalist and I'm telling the story. There's a family, a woman who's the mother, and she's also a teacher in our school district. The husband, the son, and his girlfriend. And these 4 people were stopped by police. There was some issue. I don't know the details exactly. She was put up against the fence. The kid was tased. And this is a big kid. He's probably like 6 feet tall, big kid, high school student. Was tased. Don't know if anything was wrong with that. Right? I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been tased. Not saying that anything that the police did was wrong. I'm just saying that it happened. Anyways, the woman, she filed a complaint with Internal Affairs. Then, a couple days later, when the kid went back to school, apparently that one of the policemen was an SRO. Then the kid went to school, and according to that family, the kid was taunted by the same SRO who had teased him at the fair, who had an axe to grind because of an internal affair there. I don't know. I don't know exactly what's true. Again, I repeat. But anyways, they taunted the kid. A couple days later, an anonymous teacher complaint says that these students had a gun, carrying a gun on the campus. The school does not, this is what's important, the school does not go into lockdown. The kid gets searched. The kid gets thrown to the ground. This is the video that they have. This is the video. I saw the video. The kid's being kind of, resistant. Don't get me wrong. The kid's being resistant, but anyways, they get the kid, they throw the kid to the ground, they do whatever. But anyways, they never look for the gun. They pat that kid down. The 2 kids that were with him might have had the gun. I didn't see those kids get searched. One of them is recording the whole thing on his phone. That's the video that we have. Then, apparently the kid's backpack, and I don't know exactly if this is true, but the kid's backpack was never searched, and it was left there. They took the kid away. They left his backpack, which may have had a gun, in its location. And then they leave. They had the kid. Then, again, school is still not on lockdown. They go and they have a meeting, 45 minutes to an hour, according to the parent. They're meeting with the SRO, right? One of the SROs is dealing with a fender bender, and the other SRO is in this meeting, 45 to an hour long. They still have not called a lockdown because of a possible gun on campus, which would have been the right thing to do. There's no incident report. There's no nothing. The school district has nothing to show that this happened, apparently, at that time, right? They have this meeting, whatever, big deal. Okay. So the allegation that is being made from the family is that this SRO was basically getting back at the kid, retaliation for having submitted a complaint on their treatment at the fair and whatever. So here's the problem. I'm not going to make any judgment on what the cop did at all, right? I don't know if he did anything wrong. I'm not a cop myself. I know that I would not last as a cop. I would for sure get fired from being a cop and arrested. But here's the truth. This is true. It's indisputable. They did not lock down the school during a supposed gun threat. And we don't know for a fact that they filed assessor incident report. So later on, apparently, they filed a report because the lady was saying, you guys never, oh, really? My kid has a gun? Well, why didn't you lock down the school if that's true? And she has a great point. If they didn't lock down the school, how can you say that they were looking for a gun? This is a problem. So there's 2 issues here. Number 1, this is not our employee. SRO is an employee of the sheriff, right? But number 2, why didn't they lock down the school? There's a gun on campus, but they didn't lock down the school. They didn't make the school district aware. They didn't make the state aware that this is through assessor incident report. These are the kinds of problems that you get away with when you're trying to protect people who don't deserve to be protected. I'm not talking about the SRO. I'm talking about our leadership, right? When you are the leadership of a huge institution, whether it be a school or a school district, your job is to follow the rules and do what's right, not to protect people's jobs. It's not your job, right? It's the school board's job to decide to protect people's jobs or not, right? We delegate that authority, but that authority, the authority always puts the children's safety first. So that obviously did not happen in this situation, so that's terrible. I think that's a huge problem. And somebody needs to pay the price for that. Somebody absolutely needs to pay the price for looking for a gun on campus and then not calling the school into a lockdown. It makes it look shady, and we are already shady enough at Osceola County Schools. Last thing, last thing is at the school board meeting. On top of that was a public comment, by the way. I thought that was more important than what I'm about to talk about, but they're both important issues. We have a shortage of, I think this week they were saying 130 teachers. They were short 130 teachers. Sometimes it's as high as 230 teachers. It goes up and down. But anyways, we contract with 2 companies to hire foreign teachers from other countries to come. Nothing wrong with those teachers. Those teachers are great. I've met several. Every teacher that I've met and involved in this program has been great. Nothing wrong with those teachers. However, what I did not know is that we pay $14,000, or we will be paying, according to this new contract, $14,500 as a fee for each one of those teachers. $14,500 per teacher per year. They're normally here for 5 years. So what does that equal? What is 14,500 times 5, right? Times each teacher. It's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. I'm talking about millions of dollars. Now, at the same time, we have teachers in our district coming to these school board meetings talking about nothing but how they don't have a place to stay because their rent is being increased, okay? They're basically becoming homeless. They don't have food. They have to choose. One lady came up and was talking about having to split a hot dog between her 2 kids. This is... Teacher pay is an issue, okay? Now, I don't think that we're not paying teachers at all. I don't think that they're not getting paid. I don't think that it's not like they don't have any money. But number one, we have 2 things. Inflation has been... Nobody can say this enough. I swear, I think that everybody used to say that Jimmy Carter was the worst president in the history of the United States. I think that Joe Biden is absolutely the worst president in the United States. This inflation is hurting, and it is all self-inflicted. It's not like the Great Depression. You can't blame this on this person or that person. All I know is that in the morning, I would wake up, I had money in my account, I would open up my phone, and I would pull up Twitter, and I would laugh for 15 minutes at whatever mean tweets Trump was doing, and then I would enjoy a great economy. Now, I open up a tweet, I cry because our president is absolutely senile, and it shows in everything that he does, falling down airplane stairs, falling up airplane stairs, absolutely not even be able to put sentences together. And then he surrounds himself by people who are better? No. He surrounds himself by people who have PhDs in word salad and nothing else. So anyways, let me get back to the education. Our teachers are being crushed by this economy that we're in like never before. And as part of the system, we are failing to correct something. And so I'll end with this. I'll end the show with this. We need to go back to the drawing board on school budgets. All right? That's the only way we're going to be able to make teachers whole. The only way that we're going to be able to hire teachers in a competitive way and create these paychecks that teachers merit is by rewriting. Number one, this is going to get rid of all these crazy teachers that we see in the news talking about confusing kids with their gender, right? Because all of a sudden they're getting paid 70 grand, 80 grand. Nobody's going to want to lose that job because they want to act stupid in the classroom, right? Now it's serious. A $40,000, $48,000, $50,000 job, you can lose and go get a $50,000 job. Once it's at $70,000, $80,000, I believe a teacher should be starting at 70 grand, okay? Once you're at 70 grand, now all of a sudden you have to think twice about whether or not you're going to act like an idiot in a classroom with kids, right? You don't want to lose that job, right? So, number one, I think that you get rid of all these idiots, and you're going to start keeping all the great teachers, of which a majority of teachers are just phenomenal, and they're going to come in there and they sacrifice blood, sweat, and tears for all their students, and that's who you're going to keep. You're going to attract all the best ones. They're going to come and stay. The classrooms are going to get smaller because of HB1, right? And all this stuff comes together into a better package. Now, the only way that you can do that is by rewriting our budgets. Here's what you do. You kick out the lobbyists, right? The lobbyists that are involved in the illegal sex trade, you kick out the lobbyists who are just scoundrels, you kick out all of these guys from the education field, right? And then you get out all the agendas, whether it's woke or any other agenda besides education proficiency, and you just put in an area where a teacher is back in control of her classroom, and the teacher, the student, and the parent are together creating an environment where they understand, everyone understands, they're there to learn, nothing else, right? That's the key to education right now. And we need to rewrite the budgets to reflect that. And if we don't do that, then we're just putting Band-Aids. It might be a big Band-Aid, but we're just putting Band-Aids on education in order for it to survive. So that's the show. I don't have much more. I'm getting a note here in a second, it looks like.
No, I was going to say we can review some of the meeting if you want. I can play it.
Well, okay, yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play this video on this. We're gonna play the video of the teacher, the foreign teacher contract, and I think that you'll get the point of this. I should have stopped earlier. How long have we been going on here? I haven't been tracking time.
Talk about 1601.
We'll do this and then we'll end the show. And in fact, we'll roll credits after this is done.
Board Member
Thank
Arguello.
you. God bless you. Let me know when you're ready.
7.03,
Here we go.
which I guess he already pulled, just no, sorry. 9.02, 10.04.
All set? Thank you, Vice Chair Booth.
I see already 1601.
Thank you, Board Member Cahoon.
No additional.
Thank you, Dr. Taste.
I have nothing.
Thank you. So just to repeat the agenda modifications, and this includes regular agenda 7.03, 9.02, 10.04, 10.15, 14.01, 1601, 1802. Did I get everything? Okay.
Motion to approve agenda.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve agenda as submitted by Board Member Arguello.
Second.
Second by Board Member Cahoon. Board, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We'll start with 7.03.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This one is a little bit confusing. At the end of the contract, and I just wanted some clarity, that, let me make sure I have the right one. On the final page, page 5, it talks about administrative fees. I was under the impression that we're paying them, they're like equivalent to a school teacher, right? But I thought we were withholding that administrative fee from them to pay, not paying the administrative fee on top
So
of
this is nonsense.
the.
Melendez is talking about us deciding for this private company how they're going to spend their money or what their model is or whatever. That's not our job.
I understand the partnership, I
Imagine a
understand the
government
process,
official
I understand the
deciding that
value.
he's going to tell you how you're going to do. No, you don't want that, and we don't want to. We don't want that. That's a nightmare. Okay, what we want as public officials is to make sure that we're getting the best bang for our buck. We want to protect the citizens. I don't care how they do it. I don't care if they lose it. I don't care if it evaporates. I don't care what. But paying $14,500 for an employee, for you to go find an employee, and every year you already found them, right? I mean, you already found them now. But you're still getting paid $14,500. It does not. I mean, it's incredible. Well, you're talking about $75,000. For each employee, more than they make in a year in their annual salary. It's like a year and a half of salary to get them in. And he's telling the company how you're going to do it. He's insisting that the company does it a specific way. That's nonsense. But if we skip past him,
1,005. I want to know who their lobbyist is because I mean that's this is a great model. Okay, it's nothing on the company. They're providing good teachers. Okay, fine. $14,500. This is it's a gross oversight by a school district to pay that type of fee for an employee for 5 years. $100,000 a year to find this company. It does not cost this company that kind anywhere near that money to do all of that documentation overseas. I know that firsthand. I'm not even going to run again for this seat. I'm just going to start in one of these companies. It's this craziness. It's craziness to pay that kind of fee for this money. We don't pay $14,500 to our teachers here to find them or to retain them. So, I mean, how can we be paying that to some company? Again, when it's a company, and I'll end with this, it's a
Here I am saying the
company
same thing.
with a good model, then people are squeezing money at them like crazy. That when it's our teachers or if it's
When I'm
anybody
done,
else trying to do the right
listen to
thing,
the
we either get rid of
superintendent's reasoning
them
behind
or we
this.
don't pay them out. So it's just
Transportation,
this is counterproductive.
et cetera, et cetera.
And it's,
These
I mean,
companies
it's
aren't
just,
paying
when I think about
$75,000 a
teachers
year
are
for
here
that.
right
In
now,
addition to that, the contract
and we're
stipulates
paying these
that
types
the
of
company
fees to
can
find teachers from
force
another country
the
instead of just,
employee
I mean,
to
it's
take
just
a
not great. It's
$3,000
not great.
loan for the cost. Forcing that
I'll just be brief
$3,000
again, you know,
loans, and
I
then the
support the
district has
program, we
to
said,
collect it
can
for
we
them
make
on
it
their
a
behalf.
motion, just amend
That's
it
just,
to allow,
I mean, that's
to ask the
too
question,
friendly of a
at
contract,
least,
in my
to
opinion.
say, hey, can they split it with the employees? If they say no, then go forward, but
Anyways,
at
that
least
was the
not try to
contract. I
save the
think that's-
district money,
Listen,
especially when.
we've been on an hour. I just want to. I appreciate you guys watching. We're at an hour, 1 minute and 40 seconds. I love you. I appreciate you. I love the state of Florida. I love our community here in Osceola County in Central Florida. I've been here since I was a child. This is my home. It's your home. We have to all do our part to make it better. And that begins in the world of education, in my opinion. You can't leave education behind. It's the most important thing that we have to do. This is a state, these are state issues, right? The federal government is the one that protects the country from domestic and foreign enemies, although it seems like the federal government is confused about what a domestic enemy is. But they're the ones to protect the borders of our country, supposedly not doing a great job. But our job here in the state is to govern the state. And our biggest state issue is twofold. One is the economy. We have to be able to feed our kids. Number two, we have to protect our kids and make sure that they're safe. That's really all parents care about. That's what the elections are going to be about. And if we can't do those two things, then we're failing. So I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to reach the people we have. I think our last school board report had 3,500 views. Not the biggest number in the world, but people are watching, and we appreciate it very much. Please share with your friends. Follow me on Twitter, at Jon Unsanctioned, at JONUNSANCTIONED, Jon Unsanctioned. Wow. Breaking news. It's in the news right now that a middle school had a bomb threat today, and it just reopened. So I mean, we're ending the show on with a bomb threat. It's incredible. So we'll keep you updated. You can watch us local news. It just broke this afternoon, so I haven't heard about it. I'm sure that I may have received. Maybe I missed a text. I don't know. So God bless you all. God bless the people at that school. I hope everyone is safe.